Hello.
Hang on, I have to finish that.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 1, or episode 0, character creation of Twilight Trails, which is going to be our once-a-month Call of Cthulhu. Don't worry about it. Down Darker Trails stream. So it's Call of Cthulhu in the Old West, and we're going to create some characters today with these lovely folks. We have Jay, Cece, and Marty with us.
Pew pew.
Pew pew. Call of Cthulhu's a horror game about Lovecraft stuff. That's about it. We'll get into the system a little bit as we play. It's a new system to me, and I don't know if anybody else has ever played. Is that a yes you've played, or a no you haven't played?
That is, and it is also new to me.
So, new to all of us. So, we'll be learning as we go. I apologize if I get rules wrong. But also, deal with it, I guess. Okay, so do we want to just get right into character creation? Do we want to talk a little bit about the setting, for instance? There's a couple
I'd like to hear
options.
some setting. And I know for starts without numbers, we did inspirations. I don't know that I'm bringing anything particularly inspirato to this, but I'd like to hear your inspirations at the least.
Okay.
Might help us set the tone.
Yeah. So, I'm a big fan of just your classic Western. I like spaghetti Westerns fine, but I like kind of, John Wayne, Magnificent Seven. I really like the new Magnificent Seven, I really like the new one. I know that is a less popular opinion, but I thought it was awesome. Denzel Washington is amazing in it, and he can get it. Let me tell you what.
Yeah, that dude can get it.
Yeah.
Did you know Kurosawa ripped that off?
That son of a bitch.
That son of a bitch. Stealing all our best movies all the time.
Yeah. And Star Wars. You know that one too?
And Star Wars. I'm livid. Sorry, continue.
A little more modern. Hell on Wheels. I really like that show. And Have Gun Will Travel. I watched a lot of Have Gun Will Travel. It's got Paladin. He has a gun, and he will travel to solve your problems. Old radio plays, that kind of stuff. I'm kind of, I'm in and out through my life. As a kid, especially, I really loved Westerns, and I get that from my dad. He really liked Westerns, that kind of stuff. So, I don't know if anybody else wants to talk about their connection to Westerns, and if it's just nothing, that's fine too.
I can go.
Sure.
Sure.
Also, I've actually watched a decent amount of kind of like your TV serialized westerns with my dad. Also, mostly a lot of like Bonanza and like the old Zorro TV show, and then just like. Yes, and then just like a bunch of other random ones that play on old man TV, because that's what my dad watches because he's retired. Other than that, not a whole lot of films, but besides, like, if you count, because they are so adjacent, like a lot of samurai films, because I have watched a lot of Kurosawa. But yeah, that's about it.
Not in common.
Also, True Grit from the Coen Brothers. The old one's fine too, but I really like the Coen Brothers one. Sorry, I'm done. Jay?
So the only Western I have ever seen from start to finish is Blazing Saddles. Don't think I'm going to be bringing a whole lot of inspiration in from that.
I mean, it hits all the classical.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly
I don't
mocking
think
the
I'll be
tropes
bringing
of
a lot
it.
of inspiration from the tone of that one.
That's probably
no.
a good call.
Fortunately, where I live really likes to lean into the "Hey, we used to be the Wild West" vibe, so hopefully that helps.
Sure.
And the only thing I know about Call of Cthulhu as a system is it is difficult, and it is where the story of Old Man Henderson came from. If you are watching this and you do not know the story of Old Man Henderson, go look it up. It is amazing.
Okay. And Marty.
I am also classically trained, thanks more to a mentor I had growing up who insisted that John Wayne was a great actor. Spoiler warning, he's not. But yeah, I actually found the Fallout New Vegas soundtrack really boring because I'd already heard all those songs growing up because of that. And I discovered so many new songs from the original, from Fallout 3. I was like, yeah, I already know all these. So yeah, just a lot of familiarity with the old Westerns, but I have to say kind of starting with like Unforgiven, The Quick and the Dead, the kind of modern, why don't we be a little more honest about it, Westerns, I think still hold up a lot better than anything Roy Rogers did. And yeah, horror-wise, I used to be into horror and just like kind of phased out of it, but I still have a lot of classic tastes in it. And Cthulhu's kind of classic, mostly just because it's Eldritch the Thing.
Yeah. And I like that.
Yeah.
I find that terrifying. And yeah. I also forgot Red Dead Redemption. I haven't played 2 yet. I like Westerns. But okay, so we've talked about that. And yeah. So as for settings, there's 3 different ones that are in the books. So flip to them. Okay. There is a gold rush town in the Dakota Territories called Powhatan. It's less than a year old. The population's about 800, and it is a boom town. It's barely a town yet. So there's there's only a couple actual permanent structures. Everything else is tents. It's run by the mining, the guy who staked the first claim. Like, he's kind of the boss of the town. So it's very much the wild and not so nice West. This is Deadwood, hell on wheels. This is, corruption and this is not a John Wayne movie. This is a modern Western. So that's Powhatan. Then there's San Rafael, which is a Texas border town. It's about 100 years old. Population's over 1,200. And it's a little more that classic cowboy town. It's,
there's a mission.
Exactly. There's a little artwork.
It's more than just...
There's a mission.
It's a mission.
It's more than just a general store, a saloon, and one house.
Yeah, and yes, settled by Spanish priests, and it's still very much a border town though, where like one half of the street is on Mexico side, one half's on Texas, and it's both sides are kind of getting built up. It's a little bit of like not an arms race because it's a friendly border town. It's, back and forth. The trade is good, but it's clearly each side is trying to build up their influence in the town. Mm-hmm. And then the last one is Stone Garden in Arizona. And that's kind of like halfway between the two of them. It's a silver town that's booming right now, but it has previously kind of gone through some hard times. So there's buildings and stuff, and it is corrupt AF, similar to Powhatan, but a little more structure and kind of more permanence to it. It's a little less, well, we could all die if some kind of crazy storm comes. Or some Cthulhu monster. But those are the three options. Does any of those stick out to people? And if none of them do, we can talk about building something else.
Which one will let us pull the most train heists?
San Rafael or Stone Garden. Powhatan, there is no train station yet.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think Stone Garden, just for where you'd want a railway.
Which isn't to say there won't ever be a train to Powhatan, but it might be like, in 6 sessions you hear like, well, in 6 months they say the trains are coming.
Yeah, that train's never coming.
No.
Is the mayor of Powhatan Will Powhatan? I'll show myself
I
up the
missed
stream.
playing with you, and now I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Lots of people say that, actually.
I like Stone Garden. I think it fits where I want my character to fit. Probably the best as a town on the rise. But I just, there's something about that kind of San Rafael feel that does that feels about right too. So in order, probably Stone Garden, San Rafael, Will Powhatan, Dakota territories.
Okay.
That's my same ranking.
Yeah, I think we're all there. Mine is minus the pun. So.
Okay, so everyone's top choice is San Rafael?
Stone Garden.
Stone Garden, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Done. That is, of course, in the PDF that I will get open in a bit. Okay. There's my tablet.
R.I.P. Spanish missionaries.
But it means we get some pretty cool karst maces, so...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and a silver mine, that's classic.
Yeah. That's what, like, when he started describing the first town, I was like, I kind of like this, but I wish that there were more permanent buildings. And so then when he was like, oh, there's an option that's kind of in between, I was like, well, there we go.
There we go.
Okay, great.
That was easy.
Okay, and I'll see if I'll. The book that's in is an adventure book, but I'll see if there's a section of it that's not spoilery that I can send you guys to kind of,
sure,
as a primer.
Cool.
Okay, so we'll be in Stone Garden, Arizona. And what have you guys been thinking about for characters? If there's anything in particular, I know Marty has kind of
entire character build.
I'm pretty much done.
Yeah,
I've rolled in order 2 of these things in a row. I am finally able to just bring a concept, and I will be fleshing that out for the rest of the evening.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. But Jay and Soup, is there anything you kind of wanted to explore cowboy wise, even if it's just cowboys? It's iconic for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I know I had talked to you previously about being. Oh, where is it? The
Yeah, you want it to be the bag man, essentially, right? Or like the
yes,
like like the delivery person.
Yeah, I want to be a mailman. Living my best
Not a
life.
Wells Fargo agent. Do we have a year in mind?
No, and that was something else I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
So,
The pony soup's
We-
correct.
We can circle around to
Yeah.
that if you want, but
well, do we want to talk about year before we get into characters?
I just need to know how big a deal the Pinkertons are.
Well, I don't want to get us sued because apparently they do that.
Oh, shit.
They sued Red Dead Redemption 2 for including the Pinkertons because
they're kind of a major.
Well, they lost that court case because I think the judge was like, "No, you're like a historical agency, like you were around," because it painted them in a bad light because they're the bad guys.
Because
because you're the bad guys, dude.
You guys were the feds unmoored from a federal government. You were gangsters.
You're a bunch of union buster money collectors. Like, but anyway, classic West is pretty much any time after the Civil War, up to around 1900. 1900 is like 1905 is I think the death of the Wild West, which is interesting to play in. Like
sure.
You're a relic, and here's a car, dude, so what's up? But if we kind of wanted to do classic Wild West 1880s, is there anything you guys, any in that range that appeals to you?
So one of the characters I had sort of on deck was a character I actually rolled in a Fate rolled system in a Wild West setting. But they were a old Civil War lieutenant, and I might want to bring them to the table. I'm not sure yet. But that would definitely mean we would need to be closer to the Civil War than away from it.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be playing Old Man Jenkins?
Well,
no, it would be Old Man Cromwell, but
you can play older. There is systemic
differences
for how old a
your
character
age matters.
Your age matters. Your age is actually a manageable statistic.
All right. Well, if no one's jazzed about pre-Civil War, which is kind of my zone, but I think 1869. Nice. That's not what I'm going for. I don't know if you heard that, but my wife found that funny from the other room.
Of course you did.
Of course she did. I think that's a year of some interest to me. So,
I'm not sure if I'm proud or disappointed.
Perfect. Okay. Let's circle 1869 for now.
Nice.
And then every time we say it, we have to go nice.
Nice. Because, that's when the Wyoming Territory granted women the right to vote. And I would like that in the background for my character to get all uppity about.
Well, back in Wyoming, we can vote.
Wyoming can vote. Why can't we? Arizona, more like Arizona. I'm working on it.
Nice.
You got him.
Nice. Just nicing everything.
When did Arizona become a state? Let me just look that up.
That's a good question. Probably later than that.
Wow.
Although,
When did it become a territory?
Yeah, well, yeah, but later than I thought. 1912 is when it became a state.
yeah, no, you. Yep.
Existed from 1863 until 1912.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I guess it is the last continental state.
Oh yeah, I actually thought Wyoming was that too, but I guess they joined first. That's strange. We absorbed everything around them.
Yeah. I guess there aren't a lot of people. I will see in here if it has like a suggested date, but it's a new territory even, and maybe this is like kind of one of the bigger, earlier towns. Maybe it's closer to the, eastern side of Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So I'm sorry, Soup, you were talking about your character kind of before we circled around back to that, but
I had just expressed an interest in being an express man, as they're called, and particularly one that was possibly a train engineer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about as much as I have.
Rob a train. Let's rob a train.
Are there great old ones on the train?
I mean, at that point, it's not up to us.
It's what powers the train. They just
Kinda
want you to think it's
for-
coal. They're feeding some ancient, horrible elemental.
It's the weird thing about the fate system is that's kind of how it worked. It's like, what if Doom happened in the Old West and we learned that you could burn souls like coal and it was really good too?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm gonna need to ask what that system was now because I'm super curious.
Was it Deadlands? I know that's an old or weird.
Yes.
Was a weird.
Yeah,
West system.
Deadlands is Weird West.
Yeah.
And yeah, there are like soul imbued stones and strange meteorites and all kinds of fun stuff.
Okay. So, Expressman, with a probable emphasis on trains.
Mm-hmm. I can go horses too, but I definitely don't want riverboat, which doesn't sound like it'll be a problem in Arizona.
Just chugging along the desert, just clunk, 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 clunk. I'm getting
I
there.
was just thinking a rowboat at the bottom of a like dried out lake, just scraping along the bottom of it.
A lot harder than the first half.
That tickles me. And gets me right here. He just didn't notice the river ran out.
Just kept it going.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Expressman. Jay, you said maybe Civil War veteran?
Maybe if I kind of want to do that character, because I never really got to play him for more than one session, but I've also just kind of tried to keep myself open to this, because it's a system I've never been in, it's a setting I'm unfamiliar with.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are you going full Jonah Hex? Were you fighting for the wrong side? And now you're looking for...
Ooh.
Okay.
There's a number of things I would like to not be adjacent to. Confederacy is one of them.
I respect that.
The Union is adjacent to the Confederacy. That's the problem, actually.
Okay, Andrew, your sass mouth isn't helping anybody.
I know. I'm sorry.
You meant what I know.
I know. I'll show myself out.
Bye.
Be in the car. All right.
And Marty.
Why, yes, I will be Miss Delilah Sinclair. Emphasis on the sin. Claire was my grandmama's name.
Also known as Declare.
Declare.
Have a concept, have a couple general ideas, have a completed character.
Mm-hmm. Why, yes, I am a prostitute and madam, and yes, I built that school over there, and you're welcome.
It's the Old West.
Yeah, I put the stones in
Prostitute may as
Stone
well be
Garden.
housewife.
Now your children know their numbers and their letters.
And their letters.
Taught them those
You're
for
welcome.
free.
Also, I'd like to have some religious element, some priest that I can backstass, because I do consider myself a religious woman.
Of course.
Mostly
Thank you.
just to backsass the religious.
Yes. I'm just saying I do know my Bible.
Old and New Testament.
Much preferring the new.
He's like a totally different character in the Old Testament. There's no continuity. This canon makes no sense. Okay.
Don't get me started, Andrew. That's Marty speaking now.
I know. Okay. So, kind of with either even just a basic character idea in the back of your head or a fully built character ready to go to the table.
Fully armored from the head of Zeus, yes.
Let's start to build characters. So,
All right.
pull up my Down Darker Trails. Okay.
Now, is this supposed to be roll in order, and can I not do that?
It is not roll in order. You get to select.
Okay.
So, first things first, we're going to roll stats. So, roll and write down 3d6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
5 times.
And then we can do some
So we're rolling 3d6 5 times.
3d6 5 times.
Gonna start some notes.
Ooh.
And keep, we'll be generating some numbers that you kind of have to keep separate because they go into different slots.
Oh, come on. Help me out.
Sounds like it's going well.
Ugh. It's not, but I suppose I don't know what the average is. Well, I have one good one.
Okay. So once you have those numbers, multiply each one by 5. And if anybody needs it, I have a calculator up. And then you can assign those to your strength, constitution, POW, dexterity, and appearance. And POW is like willpower, it's wisdom. It will determine your starting sanity score.
POW is wisdom?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I thought we were past systems that labeled appearance as an attribute.
Yeah. It's just charisma, but they call it appearance to be different, I think.
That's fine.
Yeah.
These are old ways.
Although, as you get older, it does go down.
Wow.
Rude.
Okay, so which of these are that were strength, dex, int, con, and appearance? Or no, POW was one of them.
Yeah, strength, con, POW, dex, and appearance.
So take my 3 numbers, add them together, and then multiply that times 5?
No, sorry. Take your yes. So 3d6, the 3 numbers you got on the d6s, times 5. So you generated 5 different numbers between 3 and 18, and then you multiply those by 5.
Okay, I believe I have my numbers.
Seem like big numbers.
And we just get to choose where they go in for strength, dex, con, POW, and what was the that was it?
Appearance app.
Oh, app. Okay.
They are big numbers because this system uses D100s.
Ew.
So
And you'll be trying to roll under.
you want to roll under them unless you're trying to improve them, and then you want to roll over them. But I'll explain that when we talk about that. There is one check in the game you want to try and fail, which I'll talk about it if it ever comes up. But it is, you want your mind to justify certain things. After you make a sanity check, you want to fail your intelligence check, because then your brain will just fix it. Nope, I didn't see that. It was just a shadow.
Right.
But no, if you
When your brain
actually
goes-
comprehend it, then it was
Okay.
real. But
Yeah.
okay, so that's strength, con, POW, dex, and appearance. Next, roll 2d6 plus 6 3 times.
Going a bit fast for me there.
Oh, sure. Sorry. I'll hold up.
I'm still
That's it.
timesing things by 5.
No problem.
I'm still trying to decide where I want to put them in.
Also, yes, I'm going to have to make those decisions, and that's going to be tricky.
Because I feel like
Jesus.
I should just put my highest roll into POW, but is that not necessarily the case?
Well, that all depends.
Yeah, you may not want to. Hold on, let me read what...
How is that goddamn possible? Okay.
Through the magic of numbers?
And is this in education and size, or is this something different?
This is in education and size. So why do you think you would want to just put it into...
Oh, because that's our wisdom and sanity, isn't it?
Yes, but let's see.
In my from my playing of Cthulhu adjacent games, usually you want to be less insane.
That's true. But if there's other things you want to be able to do, you may not want that to be your highest. But no, you can make it your highest. I mean, it's just...
Although I do see you as kind of a buttoned-up, esterly fella.
I was thinking
Or lady.
Kind of like he spends a lot of time on the trains thinking about stuff. Writing down thoughts.
Yeah, so having a high whiz or POW. What on Hell's Half Acre is POW short for, or
it's short
power?
for it's short for power.
Yeah. Like your
Okay.
willpower.
Yeah.
Rest in power. My sanity.
Yeah, I assume it's like willpower.
In the rulebook, it just says power, and it determines sanity and magic use. Which, by the way, I would not recommend trying to build a wizard because they will not last long. Because you have to give
build
up.
A wizard, build like 5 of them.
Yeah, because you will just go You will go permanently insane. Like after you cast like 2 spells.
Well, now you're playing paranoia. Okay, I'm set so far.
Okay.
And I'm not happy about it.
Uh-oh.
No.
The ones we've already generated, we can just put wherever, or are there specific ones for those 5?
So those 5 go into strength, con, power, dex, and appearance.
Okay.
And the back 3 go into the remaining 3.
So yeah, and after you've done that, let me know and we'll go over the next ones you roll.
Might
And
change a couple of those around, but
looking ahead, but only the slightest bit, that will actually, if you're using the interactable character sheet, that will actually fill in things for you down below.
Yes. Yeah, your hard and difficult checks.
yeah, I'm seeing that.
Oh, but also you're starting sanity, you're starting magic points, apparently
Mm-hmm.
I have, and my maximum HP.
Okay.
Which stands for Hun, please.
Oh, and the other thing to keep in mind, Marty, is as far... I could be wrong about this, but as far as I can tell, attributes don't have much determination on skills. So even if you don't like your attributes, your skill... they have a little bit because they help determine your starting skills. But you can still kind of spread your skill array out so that you can still do what you want. And then I will still ask for the occasional strength, dex, POW, int, edge, education check. Appearance. I don't think I can make size checks. But size will determine things, because...
what is that determining?
It determines your body. So if you have a low size, you're short.
Okay.
And you're kind of frail.
Okay, so what dice are we rolling for the second round?
So the second round is 2d6 plus 6.
Okay.
So you have a bare minimum of 8 here.
Yes, I did fairly insane on this one. Oh, because yeah,
And that one
holy
is 3
Pete.
times.
And that is 3 times, and then once you get those numbers, multiply them by 5.
Gonna have to slightly alter my presumed backstory. While we're still doing some calculating, Andy, where can we get these fine interactable character sheets?
Oh, you can go to the Chaosium website. They're available for free, and they have one for every different flavor of Cthulhu. So if you're playing classic 1920s, they have those. They have Modern Age, Cthulhu Invictus, which is Roman, Down Darker Trails, which is what we're doing. I'm sure there's Space, Cthulhu Icarus.
Why wouldn't there be?
Yeah.
Cthulhu in space.
I mean, that's where he's from.
Going to his turf.
Yeah, that one seems unfair somehow.
These are all documented in, also available from the Chaosium website, Cthulhu Through the Ages. But the Cthulhu Icarus, the spaceship one's cool because it just takes place on a spaceship, and it's like, The Thing or Aliens. You're on the spaceship, and there's something else on there with you.
Event Horizon.
Yeah, Event Horizon.
Probably being a direct one-for-one comparison. Although, I mean, technically Alien and Aliens, too, were very...
How come you didn't give us those as an option?
Oh, I could have. Oh, because we were doing a sci-fi game. But
that's true.
But
because we just started 2 other shows that are already in space.
Yeah, we're in space a lot now.
But I can't remember if Marty and I have talked about this in the chat or just in person. But if at some point we play through, Wild West for a while, and we decide, let's move on, I have ideas that would take us through time with Cthulhu. So,
I like that.
We would fast forward 60 years, do some Prohibition stuff, fast forward 30 years, do some Atomic Age 50 stuff, and then maybe, fast forward 100 years from there and do some space sci-fi stuff. Then if things go poorly, fast forward from there 100 years and you do post-apocalyptic.
Man, the Atomic Age, like the era of the giant animal movie. I think that would be a good genre to key into. Night of the Lepus, starring DeForest Kelley. It's about giant killer rabbits, everybody. They ran out of animals by then.
I wouldn't be able to decide what to rip off more at that point, old Godzilla movies or old Gamera movies.
There's one about giant grasshoppers that stars Peter Graves. I don't remember what it's called.
The Hoppers.
But it's got Peter Graves in it.
That's pretty great.
All I know is we need an army of wind-up tanks.
Okay, so and then the very last stat you determine is your luck, and that is 3d6 times 5.
I feel lied to.
Well, I know I was saying earlier, why didn't they just include that? Because you can't select how lucky you are. You just
Where is the luck?
Luck on your character sheet is
there a mulligan?
Oh, no.
Oh, luck on your character sheet is that big grid. It's got a bunch of numbers on it. It's under Down Darker Trails. There's a big bunch of numbers that say luck.
Oh, okay.
Because it goes up and down. What'd you get, Marty?
The lowest you can get.
You got 3?
I got 3 ones. Is that times 5? Do I have
5.
a 15?
You have a 15 luck. It's possible it can go up.
Don't lie to me, Andrew.
Okay.
It is theoretically possible it can go up.
Yeah.
This has all come out dickwise. It's amazing. Okay. It's not terrible. In fact, some of it is quite remarkable, but boy, that 15 luck. I guess I spent all my luck getting here and building that school. You're welcome, Stone Garden.
What do I get? Cthulhu's in my backyard.
Well, ma'am, once you're gone, we'll be sure to name that school after.
Bless you, sir, but I don't plan on going nowhere. There's one thing I can't stand about Stone Garden. It's all the goddamn Cthulhu's.
Chupacabras. Getting the goats.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, with all of those decided, the next thing to do is select your occupation. So...
Done.
Yeah, got that.
So, we have... Hold on, let me flip open to them because they have certain thingamaborbs. Okay, so express person for Cece's character. So, to determine your total occupational skill points, you take your education score, you multiply that by 2,
Okay.
and then you add that to either your con or dexterity score times 2.
Okay.
And that's how many skill points you get to spend for your occupational skills, which for you are accounting, drive, fast talk, drive, wagon, or stagecoach, fast talk, firearms, any of them, mechanical repair, natural world, navigate, and ride.
World. What was after natural world?
Navigate
Uh-huh.
and ride.
And then ride.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which ride would be for like driving trains and stuff like that.
Okay. And so it was my education score times 2 plus either my constitution or my dexterity times 2.
Yes. And
Okay.
then your credit rating is between 20 and 60. I think you just get to pick it.
Where is that?
Credit rating is on your sheet. It is one of your skills.
It's one of my skills, you said?
Yeah. So it's listed alphabetically with your skills.
Okay.
Yeah, it took me a while to find on that because I didn't think it would be under skills.
Okay, and so what was it between?
20 and 60. So, let me find the little credit rating breakdown. So a 20 would be average, 60 is wealthy.
Oh.
I don't really remember. I think you have to spend points to get it up there, but it can go up to 60.
Okay. I was going to say, what am I basing this off of? Because...
think about which of those you want to do, and you spend points to get there. So in Call of Cthulhu, you want to roll under your score. So the higher you have, the more likely you are to roll under it. There are critical hits or critical successes and critical failures. If your score is under 50, you have a more likely chance to critically fail. It's 96 to 100. Over 50, you only critically fail on 100.
Okay.
So look at those. Think about which ones you want. There is and these aren't the only skills you will get, but you get those points, and you can see the little numbers next to some of them. So, for instance, everyone's charm starts at 15%. So you start adding points from 15% for charm.
Okay.
If any of this doesn't make sense, please stop me. But so go ahead and look through your sheet, kind of determine what you want. I know this is also true in World of Darkness games. You don't necessarily want someone who is really good at one thing. Like, that's the only thing they're good at. But you also don't want someone who is kind of okay at everything. You kind of want to find a happy medium where you're pretty good at a couple different things you can do.
Yeah, so I don't want to, because I'm looking at 128 points, so I kind of want to find like 3 or 4 things and just like stack into those, I'm assuming. Or maybe just 2.
I wouldn't say 2. I would say closer to 3 to 5.
Okay.
I lied about ride. If you want to do trains, you can do instead of drive, you can do operate heavy machinery train.
Okay.
So it gets very particular. That may not be on your sheet. There are blank spaces for you to add.
I've got the operate heavy machinery one in here. But no ride, you said, right?
I'm sorry, no drive.
Oh, okay.
You're changing one either. Let me rephrase this. I'm sorry, I'm being confusing. I know.
You're fine.
You're replacing either drive or ride with operate heavy machinery because of the kind of character you want to build.
Oh, okay. So
you always
drive. Mm-hmm. So drive, wagon, and coach would be like if I was in like a stage coach company. Ride would be like Pony Express type of deal, and then operate heavy machinery would be train. Yeah.
So you should still have 8 skills regardless of, at the end of this. But if you think, well, I know how to ride a horse and drive a train, then you take ride and operate heavy machinery local. If you're not good on a horse, you cut your teeth on stagecoaches before moving up to this. Take drive, stagecoach, and operate heavy machinery locomotive. Okay.
Cool.
Marty. What?
Yes, I would like to point out they do not have a soil dove's profession, but they're suggesting entertainer. And as far as now, education times 2 plus appearance times 2. That is my end. That will be those scores times 2 plus each other.
Yes.
Okay. And that's how many points I'm gonna kind of sort of start with.
That's how many points. Yeah, you'll start with to go into your occupational skills, which are the ones listed there.
Arts and crafts. Disguise. We're going to count disguise as just general gustying up. Thank you very much.
Who you really hiding from?
Well, that man of God keeps coming around here telling me I'm wrong. Good one. Why should listen and psychology actually like them a whole bunch. And any other 2 skills as personal or area specialties.
Yeah.
That's fine, because I need to be able to use a rifle or a shotgun.
I was about to say, maybe you know how to use a gun. Maybe you have gambled in the past.
Have you seen my luck? I bet it's not gamble.
I didn't say you were good at it. maybe
you had.
Maybe that's how you got the schoolhouse. You burned all your luck gambling and won it. Okay.
That is terrible. I can't push a roll for shit. I cannot do it.
You can push a roll. You can't burn luck to buy better results. So to push a roll.
Well, sorry. That's what I was
sorry.
kind of meaning. That's right. There's an actual in-game terminology.
Yeah,
to
sorry.
Push a roll
So
in
there's
there.
pushing a roll, which is you can try again. You just have to describe what you're doing differently. But if you fail the second time, there are terrible results. Or you can be like, I only missed by 2. I'm going to burn luck to get it below my number.
Yeah. I best to miss by 2 because I have nada. That's me being bilingual.
Si habla español. Okay. And Jay. Let's see. What were you thinking about for your guy? Did you want to do soldier or what their job is like now?
I'm sorry, you cut out?
Oh, I'm sorry. So for occupation, what were you thinking? Did you want to do soldier or did you want to do something that represents their post soldier in life?
Well, at this point, I'm torn between doing the ex-soldier or just a train robber.
Okay.
Don't you be robbing my train, boy.
Well, let's see. I mean, their skill lists aren't that different. So certainly, you could, you could do either and very easily roll one into the other. It's, I learned how to be a good outlaw because I was a good soldier, or now I'm just outlawing now because that's what I want. So I don't know. I guess it determines which way would get you better occupational skills because they do determine them differently.
If I go pure outlaw, that would just be kind of fun, but if I go ex-soldier, I can also say I have a cavalry saber, which sounds kind of odd.
I mean,
because I really like just the mental image of some poor idiot charging some eldritch thing on horseback with just cavalry. I'm gonna get it!
Yeah. No, I think...
yeah.
As much fun as that sounds for this one, I'm thinking I'm gonna go with outlaw.
Okay. So...
Is the little clicky box next to these skills just saying they're professional or some such thing?
That is for leveling those skills up. So during play, you use the little ticky boxes.
Okay.
Okay, so for outlaw,
psychology,
fighting, any, firearms, any, ride, stealth, one talking skill, locksmith, mechanical repair, psychology, or sleight of hand. I like that. Or spot hidden. Okay, cool.
Now, is there any place on this PDF that describes any of these skills?
Let's see. If not, I have
and what is my stat other than education for figuring out my skill?
Sure, I'm sorry. It's education times 2, plus you have 3 different choices. Either appearance, dexterity, or intelligence times 2. So you can be the handsome outlaw, the quick outlaw, or the smart outlaw.
We're gonna go with quick.
Okay. Let's see. Is there a list of skills in here? Or do I have to pull out the...
I was gonna say it has new skills, like ones that
Okay.
specifically pertain to this one.
So which skill did you need? Because I can pull it out of the...
I was just kind of like a more comprehensive definition of fast talk.
Sure.
I mean, I assume it's kind of like a deception type of a thing, but I just want to check and make sure.
Yeah, fast talk is specifically limited to verbal trickery, deception, and misdirection, such as bamboozling a bouncer to let you inside a club, getting someone to sign a form they haven't read, making a policeman look the other way, and so on.
Okay. And then accounting is just being good with money, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay. And so for our credit rating, we have to use our points that we're using for buying our skills to go into our credit rating, correct?
I think so. Let me double check that.
Okay.
Is accounting going to come up? Because I feel like I bought that skill using something. All right, I might be...
Yeah, so you have to spend skill points on it, but they're not your... Yeah, you just have to spend skill points on credit rating. Points must also be allocated to credit rating, yeah.
I have a range here from 9 to 60. How do I determine that?
So I guess it starts at 9 no matter what, and then... Oh, each has a suggested credit rating. So, you have to spend points to get even to 9. 9 means you're poor, by the way.
Oh, hell no.
Oh.
10 is average.
Okay. And so I had to spend points from 0.
Yeah. But you're going to get more skill points. So we'll talk about that.
I better.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily have to spend these skill points right now on my credit rating?
Nope.
Okay.
Well, and I suppose I can beg, borrow, and steal towards the end of the process here. And by that, I mean, like, because right now I'm even kind of being like, okay, well, I don't need 75 in that, so I'm going to take 10 and I'm going to put it over here. Mm-hmm. And then I can take 5 from here. Now that's a 15 in that or whatever. So I'm not saying I'm going to try and pull anything shady, just play with my math later. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just putting down general ideas for right now.
I have what I believe to be my base professional points spent.
Same.
And I will have you know that I resisted the urge to justify rope use as a professional skill.
Yeah.
This is why we can't have nice things.
I mean, you can do whatever you want, buddy. Okay. Does everyone have their base occupational skills all statted out and calculated?
I do believe so.
Statted out and calculated, but I have all the information.
Okay. Yeah, if you would also like to sit on it and think about it some more, or maybe even hear what your fellow investigators can do and be like, well, we have a weak spot here, or go through your backstory a little bit, and then you're like, I want to add these here. Okay. And then more skill points.
Whee!
Good.
Calculate your personal interest skills by multiplying your intelligence by 2.
Okay.
And these can be allocated to any skill except Cthulhu Mythos.
Okay.
How do they know that's not my personal interest?
You have to get my approval, which you can do if you lobby for it, but...
All right, well, I got a shitload more points just now.
And yeah, anybody needs me to read out a skill, either one of the Old West specific ones or one of the other ones, let me know and I can do that.
Okay, and credit rating, which is just dumb. It's purely wealth.
It's purely wealth. So there's a little
liquid wealth.
There's a little, well, yes and no. So there's a little chart that tells you how much cash you have, what you have in assets, and then something called your spending level, which means every day you can spend X amount of dollars and you don't have to actually deduct it from anything. It's a little bit weird, but it's kind of like you're
wow,
walking
so
around
easy,
cash.
Chaos Man. Thank you. Elegant system. All right. Okay, well, see, now it's where I'm getting World of Darkness from. I'm like, well, I want a little bit of this and that. And I guess this is around when that kind of idea comes in. I have an alarming amount of intelligence and education, so I'm going to take some library use. Wait, is there a library in town before I waste these damn points, Andrew?
Yes.
Thank you. They'll have you have it in the church, so I have to
100% it's in the church.
At a holy man. Yeah, okay, good.
So it's just our intelligence times 2 is the points that we're spending right now.
Yes.
All right, so get my calculator back up. Start with that number and...
Oh, we didn't talk about age. We'll have to do that next. Oh, shit.
Uh-oh. Does this change things?
Good indicator.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah, you always want to hear...
Okay.
Shit.
Recalculating.
Yeah, this isn't too bad. You just have to recalculate. Okay. Everyone pick an age.
Oh, that's just gonna... Yeah, I'm average. I'm between the 20 and 38 or whatever it is.
Yeah, 20 and 30. 20 to 30, yeah. Between 20 and younger than 40 is kind of your prime age.
Wow.
Sorry.
Ageist.
It's the Old West, though, so, I mean, 40 is like, you're pushing well past...
Ageist. The human lifespan is actually entirely average. What you're accounting for is a high infant mortality rate. Just saying.
Yeah, but these people
65 to 80 is traditional, well back to the Neanderthal. I'm an educated lady. It turns out I rolled insanely well.
Yeah. So, if you are between 20 and 40, you make an education improvement check, which means you roll D100, and if your result is higher than your present education, it goes up by 1d10.
Oh, no, that's not happening, but let's see.
Okay, so we're rolling a D100.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, shit, I rolled very high, though.
Okay. And then if we got higher than our education, then we roll a new D10?
A new D10, and that is the points added to your education score.
Okay.
And then that technically would have changed your starting skill points. And
Yep.
I am sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
But it won't change them by a lot.
No, and I missed it because I have an alarmingly high education.
Yeah. So,
and I rolled an 80 and missed it.
Wow.
Just to say.
Yeah.
So my education can now never change. It is the optimum.
Let's see.
Is it also the year that we're playing this in?
Nice.
So sorry about that. I jumped the gun because skills are more interesting than age. But again, it shouldn't change it dramatically. Well, I guess add most 20 skill points, but...
See, now those are just flavorful. And don't I want to spare some place for flavorful? What would you say is an excellent, a good, and an average skill level? Andrew, who's never played this game either.
I would say anything 75 and above is extraordinary.
Okay.
Probably 50 to 75 is very good, and maybe like 40 to 50 is good.
Okay.
Once you're getting below there, you're and it's a D100, so your percentage is very easy to figure out of what are the odds you will get it. But yeah, when I played the Alone Against the Flames, I was on fire, and no pun intended. I was rolling like 30 and under the whole game.
Okay.
So
weird flex, but all right.
But I was thinking about it. It's just like, it's because I roll low. I don't roll dice very high. And so this game is good for me.
Yeah, you just need to find the right game, Shug.
Whereas Jerry Hulkins rolls dice poorly because his first roll in Call of Cthulhu was 100.
Was 100.
Literally the worst thing you could get.
That's some Will Wheaton shit.
Yeah, he took 1 damage on a library use check.
Yeah, that was good. Now, will we be getting any more points? I need to know before I start committing numbers.
Because
my credit rating is lower than I want, but I can justify that story-wise.
Mm-hmm. During character creation,
yeah,
this is it.
This is it. Okay, so we have professional, and then we have kind of personal interest or whatever they called it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you could also
I can
increase your credit score with personal interest ones. It's
well, right, but let me see.
But I also understand if you don't want to. It's kind of a boring one to spend money on. Although,
yeah,
I think it would be interesting if you just created some, like John Hamm from 30 Rock, where he's just totally nothing, but he's rich and handsome.
Yeah.
I'll just buy it. That wasn't John Hamm, but
okay. And so I feel like I'm not 100% understanding the little percentages next to everything.
So the little percentages next to everything are what you start at, or if you have nothing in the skill, what you roll. So for instance, everyone has a 25% chance for spot hidden. If you spend no points in it, you still have a 25% chance to do it. But if you spend points in it, it starts going up from that number.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. I think I understand now. Okay.
So if you spend no points in animal handling, you have 5% chance in animal handling.
Okay.
So that's your 0.
Ooh, there's a lot of math.
It is very math intense. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, real elegant system.
It's classic.
Yeah, it sure is. This is Palladium most foul.
I tell y'all what, I can hear the gears crunching from here.
Oh yeah, I'm grinding.
Same.
Yeah, because the closest I ever came to playing any kind of classic Call of Cthulhu was actually Beyond the Supernatural, which was the Palladium version, kind of less great old ones and just more. Oh my God, the world is full of terrors. But it's very much percentage based. It's very much too many skills spread across too many thrills. I felt that had to rhyme at the end.
I will say, in play, I do like how this works. It's a lot up front, but I also like how you can kind of zoom out of your character sheet and you see, these are my skills. This is what I'm good at. This is who my character is. How do I justify? You kind of get backstory reasons for it all. But also, we've spent an hour of doing math.
Yeah. But that's the old ways too. It really is. Let's see. All right, can I just give you an at a glance because I think I'm spent,
Sure.
and then we can talk about whether or not all this sounds too high, and that's just permission for me to be like, I can spread it around a little bit more, what have you. All right, so my characteristics, because they can't just call them attributes. I have a strength of 20, a dex of 45, an int of 90, a con of 45, an appearance of 65, a POW of 40, size 55, education 90.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah, I rolled 18s on intelligence and education.
Ma'am, if I may say, you look very well educated.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's the Old West equivalent of saying I have a great personality. All right, so I have accounting 55, charm 65, credit rating 11. I spent it all in that school just recent.
Sure.
Firearm 65, shotgun rifle specifically,
Mm-hmm.
a lady's weapon. History 35, law 65, good to know. Library use 60, listen 60, which I mistakenly was like, that's me listening to people. No, that's psychology. I have an 80 in that. Medicine 50, persuade 60.
Okay.
And that's my spread right now.
What, if your history's only 35, what are you teaching these kids?
I'm not teaching them. I'm just paying for them to get educated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, apparently my major was psychology. And it turns out it's a more primitive time and they don't have no jobs for me. So I turned to the soiled Dovin and use that psychology to manipulate men in local politics my way.
Okay.
Yeah. Should have let me in university, dweebs.
Okay.
Now y'all gonna pay what you owe. So does that sound like I'm over specializing in a few things, or does that sound like a pretty good spread?
That sounds like a pretty good spread. I mean, looking at the sheet, I don't know what else you would necessarily have picked up. So that, that seems perfectly logical. You're very good in a lot of them, but
yeah.
Unless you...
Yeah, that's my only hesitation is I think I could stand to be a little worse in a few things, but those are the things I want to make sure, like, I'm succeeding in, right? Like...
Yeah. The only thing I could think if you would want to take points and put it is, like, medicine and locksmithing.
Yeah, I have a 50 in medicine. Locksmithing's
I wouldn't
fun.
worry about locksmith.
Okay.
Yeah, you got an outlaw on your team.
I got a little bird on my shoulder tells me I know a man. Yeah, medicine, because again, there's a fair chance that there was a 4-year span here where I might have been the primary medical aid as well, but...
You went to college just like a doctor.
I was not allowed to go to college. Thanks for bringing it up, Andrew.
Oh, sorry. You didn't go to a women's university?
Oh, wow.
What?
I guess... No, I'm just trying to think of the history of it. 1869, nice. They probably did have one or two, but boy, that comes later than... Much like Arizona becoming a state, that becomes much later than you think. First...
I am just now realizing I did a lot of math wrong. Okay. I missed some times fives. Whoops.
Oh my god. And it threw me right to India. Apparently the Sharmati Nathabai Damodar Thackersary is the first women's university just in India or ever. I think it would be more livable if it was ever.
Oh, Wesleyan was formed in 1839.
Oh my god, I want to be a Wesleyan girl.
Although it was originally called the Georgia Female College.
It sure was. I just caught up to that. Yes. Hillary Clinton will later on wish she was me. Things I know about Wesleyan. Actually, things I know about the Seven Sisters in general. I created a sorority. You're welcome, White Wolf. Oh, of course, it was the seminary. That was the first one. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot. I had to scroll past a lot of seminaries.
Yeah. Ah, shit. So, you know what? I could have. So how about instead, I went to Wesleyan and there were no opportunities appropriate my education.
Yeah,
and so that's what moved me out west to be like, fuck it then. I'm using my degree to get rich and build schools.
And I think you do want to do Wesleyan just from your reaction, but there are other colleges you could have attended that were.
Oh no, but there were not.
Yeah,
I am 100% locked into Wesleyan. That is, if it was good enough for future Hillary Clinton, it is good enough for me. And now that I've mouthed off about it twice, let me confirm, but I am 80% sure that she was a Wesleyan girl. I know she was a Seven Sisters girl, but Hillary Rodham.
She's not listed under notable alumni.
Ah, shit.
And I have never heard of any of these people.
Oh, shit. She went to Wellesley. You can understand my confusion.
Yes.
She went to Wellesley. Well, she missed out.
She could have gone to the Western Georgian Women's College? What was it?
Absolutely. She could have gone to the Female Complaints College of Georgia. Oh, so I guess it was I guess it's in Georgia. Oh my gosh, it's in Macon, Georgia. I dated a girl from Macon, Georgia. This is not a bit. This is actually a true thing. All right, so I was a Southern girl to start, which explains the accent. All right. It's the Georgia Female College. Oh man, our country was dumb for a long time. Still is.
This was nonsense.
Yeah, no, still is. You're right. Why, Suge? All right. Yeah, Macon, Georgia. It's home of the Macon Bacon Factory. True fact. You can Wikipedia that. All right, so I am educated, and again, it's a matter of it was still too early for the opportunity to meet my education. So I went westward to make my fortune the old-fashioned way.
Okay. Does anyone else want to kind of go over their attributes, ask opinions about that, anything like that? Or do we want to start talking about backstories?
I mean, I kind of want to go over what I picked and see if it paints a picture in anyone's mind.
Okay.
Fighting, firearms, handguns, first aid, locksmithing, riding, spot hidden, stealth, and survival.
Yeah, I'm getting a picture.
So you're Survivor Man, right?
Yeah, as in, I think you're the only one Survivor manning this this adventure. See what my fancy Georgia girls' school education does me when faced with the infinite. But
well, you can psychology it.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't exist, and you have too many tentacles.
Oh shit! I'm never failing that roll. By the way, I'm like, nope. That is a fish man.
I have seen a fish man.
Yeah, I've seen a murderous fish man right now.
A fish man. He tried to do a murder upon me.
Plain as day. Y'all saw that?
Oh, what are y'all talking about? It's just a normal guy. Shot him.
Bleeds.
Shugs, I am shook to my core. I need my fainting couch.
And my smelling salts.
My smelling salts.
Can we crowdfund a lace fan for Marty for that?
Yes.
I want you to dramatically flip something out at some point.
Oh man, I think I might have a line on that. I'll see what I can do by session 1.
Nice. I'm sorry. Nice.
Nice.
And Soup.
Okay, so I think I'm going for like my guy he's delivering the mail, but he's like, he's also operating a train. So I took a lot of like mechanical repair, operating heavy machinery, ride, and navigate.
Okay.
To go over my characteristics, I've got 50 strength, 45 dex, int is 55, con is 70, appearance is 55, pow is 75, size is 55, education 75.
Okay.
And then I also threw a lot into charm because I thought him being real charming would be nice. But I want him to be kind of like, how to phrase it. I want him to be kind of interested in like the engineering part of being like a train engineer, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like the real science of it all and like engines and like junk like that. So I'm not sure whether I've got like 50 interest points still left to spend.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't sure if I should just throw those into science or if anybody had kind of some thoughts on where I should go with that.
Electrical repair.
I was going to say anthropology.
That'll let you recognize them fishmen
For what they truly is.
for what they truly is.
And there's men with gills.
Let's see. You want to be like early engineering kind of?
Yeah. So he's kind of like
we
while
got-
he's riding the open rails, he's got a lot of time, so he's kind of gets interested in studying the mechanics of it all. It's kind of my
Let's
thought.
see. You got mechanical repair. You got to operate heavy machinery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it depends on how. Yeah, because mechanical repair and operate heavy machinery, so you know how it works.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to understand like the science, like the physics behind it, I would say that's science.
Yeah,
But also,
science,
electrical
physics.
Yeah, electrical repair does
Yeah.
complete the picture of you as an engineer
Okay.
in a way,
And put you on the bleeding edge.
mm-hmm. Make some kind of Tesla gun
Yeah.
to shoot this Cthulhu man.
Pardon me, Squamous. That's fancy talk for a squid.
Excellent. Okay, I think I might throw it into electrical repair and just see where that goes.
That's the future. When we eventually invent the World Fair, you're going to be there.
I'm
Plus, he all
imagining
goes
him as like this guy just like covered head to toe in grease, getting the grease all over your mail. But he's real charming about it.
Thank you, Mr. McFeely.
Okay.
What a greasy Mr. McFeely.
Really greasy Mr. McFeely. Okay. So the last thing to do, past all those skills, is deciding upon a backstory. And on your character sheet, there is a list of backstory information and kind of the things that are most important to you. Some of them you won't necessarily have to fill out yet. For instance, phobias and manias, you may gain those over time. You may start with one. You may be afraid of spiders or something like that, but the character sheet says they are normally like everything from injuries and scars down is normally left blank. But if you have an injury or scar from the war, or, you know, from your childhood, yeah, throw that in there. If you have a afraid of heights, throw that under phobias, that kind of stuff. But they will also be added upon as you encounter things of the mythos and beyond. And kind of the most important ones are significant people, meaningful locations, and treasured possessions. Try to at least have one of those. You don't have to have all three, but at least one of those will be will kind of help shape what I can do, what your character can do, and they may be important for recovering sanity. So,
mm-hmm.
Okay.
And if you have all three, I mean, feel free. That's just great in general. But if you know, significant people, they're all dead, yeah, that's a thing too. So
Sure.
Or, you know, your only friend has ever been the road and moonlight, and maybe you're looking for that significant person in your life. That's something too.
My only friend is the road and the squirrels.
My only friend is also the road. We should be friends.
No thanks, I already have a friend.
Oh.
The road.
What about the squirrels?
Also squirrels.
And then at the very bottom, there is a little tentacle chart that connects you to all of your fellow investigators, character and player names, and that there are a bunch of lines on there because, you know, people die. The system is one that is not necessarily it's not holding its punches. You can die.
Yep.
And I'm I'm debating on, there's an optional rule in this one that might just double your hit points, and we might do that.
Let me see, what were my starting hit points?
Dad?
10. That's it. Make sure.
So, let me see if there were any other optional rules I was into. I'm gonna try not to add like a bunch of optional rules because it's our first time playing, and I'd rather not confuse us too much. But I did like the idea of, you guys made it out west. You're hardier. You're just hardier. Like it's hard to move out here, so you have just increased hit points.
In the Old West, not halfway there in a ditch dying of dysentery.
Exactly.
Yeah. And there's something to be said to that too. It also gives you a little wiggle room. Oh, X monster turns out to be a fucking hacksaw of a thing that you didn't intend. Well, we're all getting used to it. That's not a bad optional start.
Yeah, like, look at this guy.
Oh, he's just a sweet old tentacled.
That man looks very well armed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There we go.
He's a tentacled dapper conquistador, I think.
He knocked his hat off, though.
Well, he's no gentleman. I'll grant you that. Now, as far as like notable locations, does it have to be immediately accessible in order to help us regain sanity, or does it just have to be strong in our mind?
It strong in your mind, and maybe if you go to a place that reminds you of it. So, like, if, for instance, your childhood church was a significant location to you, and you go to the church in Stone Garden, and yes, it's not the same, but you can kind of connect to why it was important to you. I would allow stuff like that to totally correspond.
Okay.
All I know at this point is if I decide to come with a pre-built phobia, it's going to be something really random and dumb.
Pardon me for 2 minutes.
Sure.
Start a timer.
And so are these things that we can find on a page here on this PDF, or are they just things that we're going to make up?
So hold on, there are charts that give you examples, starting on page 12.
Okay.
But they don't have to be specifically those. It's like Dungeons and Dragons at the flaw trait, ideal bond thing. There's a bunch of suggestions and fall somewhere in there, but if you want it to be, your aunt instead of a parent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just rolling to see what I get.
That was 2 minutes.
I did it.
Well did.
All right. All right. Those are all things as far as our significant totems here. I'm going to want to spend a little more time with.
Sure.
But I do have to say, through some of the billiard balls of history here, I actually end up loving this character just a little more than I started with, and I started loving this character. Mm-hmm. So
has her diploma from the Georgia Female College. Nailed to that
Georgia Female College. From memory, I was like, it's the Georgia College for Women or something. I'm like, no, it's dumber than that. It's far dumber than that. The Georgia Female College. So I wrote that down to make sure I remember.
But yeah, so kind of the last bits, the backstory bits, your character history, something to stew on, something to think on. Nobody has to decide anything right now, unless you do.
I'm gonna have to set a spell before I make any committed decisions.
Sure. So, but that's. Oh, and then the last thing is equipment, which is also in the character guide, pretty much. Whatever you want to start with should be fine. I mean, you don't get like your own train, but it's not even listed. Yeah, whatever basic supplies you want to start with, roughly corresponding to your credit rating. There's a list of things and how much they cost. Again, I'm not going to be like the biggest stickler about this stuff, but some of it is expensive and you might not have it. But look through, kind of pick out some things you'd want. I'm sure there are actually rules for determining how much you start with, but we're not going to worry about that. And I presume everyone will start with a weapon, that kind of stuff. Even if you're not good with it. Although at least two of you were very good with it. Were you any okay with was your express person okay with a weapon?
No, I didn't take any
Okay.
points in that.
So,
Well, but at your worst, you're still at 25%.
yeah, it's the Old West,
Yeah.
so you still know how to shoot a gun.
Good at running things over with train.
Yeah.
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 Just put it in
Put
front
it
of the
in
train.
front of the train.
It's always done me fine.
It's in a very specific location. I will murder it to death.
We'll just have our outlaw tie them up, put them on the train track.
I was considering going with the Snidely Whiplash for a minute there, but then I ended up too dumb.
It's a classic. And I am not uneducated in the rifle. On accounts, I had to guard my own behind for a number of years before I could hire others to do so. And plus, it's an easy way to make money not on my back, to be like, I'll bet you that young lady can't shoot those cans, and I'll be like, fuck you, I can. Yeah. That's a secondary income. Well, y'all know me. I'm Delilah Sinclair. Do we have any leads on names for y'all?
No.
Okay. I will leave that space blank on the character sheet for right now for use. All right. Jay, any leanings?
Can't quite say I'm leaning one way or another.
Okay.
Is there an Old West character name generator?
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Oh,
Looking
at
it
least
up
one.
now.
I only have one NPC name. His name is Jeffries.
Excellent.
God damn it, Jeff.
The Jeffrey.
Yeah.
All right, well, that would be one of several surprises for session 1.
But yeah, we'll anything else before we sign off? Any other questions?
So I will say that the first 5 names that I got on this include the name Royster, Job, Cassville. on a good one so far.
I will say I think Job is probably Job, but
It is almost certainly Job, yeah,
Nope,
but
it's Job.
it's Job. I like the idea that your daddy was so backwards country that he just thought it was Job. He thought it was a virtue name. He hoped you got a job someday and then named you that.
And then here, look at you on that shiny train making your papa proud.
It's a shame he died from the lung.
Ooh, Vincent. I am definitely choosing that as my first name.
Vincent?
Yes.
Wow, that's a Final Fantasy VII name.
Hell yeah, it is.
also a bar crawl name.
Oh yeah, shit, it is. Maybe I'll change it. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you don't, he didn't really go by Vincent. He went by Vinny. I mean,
Truth.
if you're
No, it's mostly NPCs what called him Vincent.
Yeah. Vincent or Vince is different.
And again, you were doing a fine accent earlier, but I don't know. I always like the idea, like the Northern Easter guy who's trying to sow his wild oats out here. But
I'm almost thinking about like going in that direction because my kind of idea is like he kind of got wrapped up into this job because he wanted to learn more about like trains and stuff and just kind of ended up coming out west.
yeah, the early industry is all north. Like,
Yeah.
that's when Pennsylvania was rich.
Oh, y'all took a train here.
Yeah.
Oh, you cheated.
That's before the Rust Belt had that name. and probably had a different name that didn't invoke decay. Well, no one remembers. No way of finding out.
Lost to the sands of time.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, this is going to be fun until the Cthulhu show up.
They may not show up for a while. We'll see.
All right, yeah.
Or they might show up in the first session.
Okay.
Question: how does one mount the head of a Shoggoth on the wall? 'Cause that's gonna throw that taxidermist there for a loop.
Carefully.
Very, very carefully. It's still babbling an alien tongue.
He does that. Okay. Awesome. I know that was a lot of math, but we're ready now to Western and Cthulhu.
Well, and learn.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps I'm mistaken, because, yeah, there's a chance we have over-specialized, or there's a chance we haven't specialized enough, so...
Well, and... yeah, we'll see. Like in all my games, I'm not going to set out to kill anyone, but the system is...
The system might be a bit murder-happy,
yeah,
everyone.
It's a little less friendly. And now, granted, I have heard people also say that saying it's like insta-death all the time is... it's got a reputation that maybe it is only partially earned.
For sure.
That maybe people overstate it because that's, funner and more dramatic to be like, oh no, if every session doesn't end with you dead, you're doing it wrong.
0 sanity or bust.
Yeah, how do you have a campaign? Okay. Awesome. And we will have our first episode of this in about a month then. Outros and plugs, and we're totally recording this live, so keep that in mind when you're plugging things. Jay.
Hi, I'm Jay Rashu. You can follow me on Twitter if you would like to for some reason at Jay.
Cece.
Hi, I'm Cece, aka Soup, aka Soupsika on Twitter and Instagram. If you'd like, you can follow me there. I do artwork. I just put up a bunch of stuff, and I will probably when this comes out also. So
Awesome.
You mean to tell me your given name is not Soup? I have been lied to this whole
Well, it's not Cece either, is the thing.
Nope. I'm a woman of many names.
I love your pizza.
Oh my god. Don't even get me started.
And Marty.
Oh my god, recent political and or sports reference. Can you believe it? I can't.
I cannot. How topical.
How very topical. Thank you, everyone, for coming to the stream, where I imagine we're all going to have a lot of fun with Southern Act. And I'm excited. Tune in once a month for more timely references.
Timely references, bad accents, and math.
Yes.
Less math.
That's the new name of the stream.
More so math. All the math.
All the maths.
Math in real time.
I'm Andy Hatton, and this week on the Laughing Dragon Inn, there's a Task Force Unlikely episode, which definitely picks up right where the last one left off, and who can believe what happened in that one? Who knows?
Timely reference.
I know. Of course that thing happened, and then that other thing. What a great episode. It will be called something relevant to what happened in the last episode, which has definitely occurred already.
Shemeska, you scamp. That's my memory of it.
But yeah. Have a good night, everybody. The night that this is definitely airing and was also recorded.
Yeah, it's a Monday probably.
It's
Oh yeah, we are live right now,
definitely.
everyone.
That's why I'm in chat probably.
Yeah,
Yes, we've been saying so many things,
all of the things. I was hilarious that one time.
Man,
and I am totally not actually asleep as this is airing.
and that second episode of the Spelljammer show,
So much
Wow.
happened.
I'm
Hot
shook.
stuff.
Shook.
This is never going to get old. We're going to do this every week.
Yeah. Why shook?
Have a good night.